Okay, well, you can see me, which is the most important thing.
Oh, fuck you.
But if I did this, and you see less of me, but you see more of you.
Even!
Okay, I guess we should do it like this. First things first. Hi.
Leave it like that. No, leave it like that.
No, because I want the audience to fucking
They don't need to. This can be our car review. Car reviews are stupid, so let's do it.
The Cinema Snob can do it, I can do it too.
No, but we can do it like this.
No!
Our faces won't be in it, so they won't be able to see our facial expressions, so they have to imagine it.
No,
But why not? Then they can see.
But then they see my boob.
They see mine too.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Adam Noyce from Adam Noyce, and joining me again is Andre
Rowell from Sounds Epic Music.
Roll well. And,
Hi, this is my car.
Yeah, so I'll shut up. Anyways, so sorry about this not being in a normal setting with a totally awesome, not really totally awesome, but yet slightly appealing look of the backdrop and everything. That usually whenever this fuckers comes over, it usually falls off at least one point before the review, or almost falls off.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we just barely walked out of the theater to see Gravity in 3D, and I'm missing the Sons of Serizawa podcast tonight, but, you know, I'd say it was definitely worth missing.
Good movie.
It was.
Sandra Bullock was impressive.
Yeah, George Clooney was George Clooney. But
still, George Clooney is God, so yes.
George Clooney is God, Jesus, the Messiah, the Buddha.
For a second there,
I know. Oh my fucking God. Let's just start off with that. That fucking scene where he comes back in, and she's like...
At first you think she's dead.
Uh-huh.
And then you see she comes alive, and you're like, wait, how the fuck is she alive?
How the fuck did that work? And here's the thing, I thought it was real at first. It just shows you how good it was. And I was like... And I was starting to get pissed off, because I was like, that wouldn't fucking happen! She'd die!
Yeah.
And considering the fact that the
body
rest...
would melt.
Yeah. Just like, I mean, they did it with the one Indian guy. He's Indian.
Of course, the minority is killed off in the beginning.
I just wish I saw his face go... out the...
It's like freaking, like, you know,
well, that's the thing. That's what would have happened.
I know, it's so cool. And I love space.
Anyway, me too. Space is awesome. Well, it's... If that shit happens, no. But,
yeah.
But Jesus Christ, in that scene, I was starting to get pissed off because I was actually like...
I was like, that's just...
Out of everything else, out of all the intricate detail that they put into this, I was like, are they really doing this? Are they really going to fuck everything up? Because if that was actually real, it would have been badass. But I would have been like, for a movie that was trying, which is going to get into some of my complaints about that, but I want to get into that later because I really want to talk about what was good about this movie before anything. But... that scene there would have ruined everything.
Yeah,
if it was real. Like, I would have been tempted to walk out of the theater because the rest of it was so good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that happened. But I was like, oh, thank fucking God it was a dream.
Yeah. What was it? It was like fucking like crazy, man.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was expecting, to be honest, when I couldn't really see the face, and I thought it was I thought it was one of the Chinese guys from inside that. That's what I thought. And I was like, oh, that would have been cool. They would have come over and they would have worked together. But it wasn't. And it was fucking George Clooney.
Of course it was George Clooney.
Yeah. Did you get the vodka? And I thought that was badass, but...
well, Russians.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Putin.
Putin, yeah.
Which I find ironic that he's getting nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for
something that was caused by
a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Anyways, God, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, it was. I was impressed.
I mean, like, what were some of the things that jumped out at you immediately that was good about it?
The immediate was the opening, when it just, the few little words came up on the bottom, and then it got really, the build-up. It was like, and then just silence, and then just the earth.
That was, that...
I love that. I
just want to say, and I can't even really call most of that shaky cam. It's not. I almost want to call it, like...
Space cam?
I don't know what else to call it, because Peter Jackson does it now. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino has done it a lot.
Yeah.
But it's when the camera isn't necessarily stable, but yet it's following people and very continuous. I have to say, out of all the movies that have been made, this is the best cinematography I have seen for a movie, I'll be honest, since Moon. And I'm not saying that just because it's another science fiction movie or a space movie. I'm saying that because the cinematography was that fucking good.
Freaking takes were?
Oh my God, those takes, the opening take was like 10 minutes.
At least.
I was like, yes!
I mean, it shows, first off, the skill of the actors. The actresses, whether or not you think that they're good actresses or not. I mean, you have to have talent to be able to act for 10 minutes straight.
Well, no. Here's what I think they do, because everything, of course, and also another good thing with this, the CG was done good. This was the case where the CG was amazing. And another thing, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I fucking love the 3D.
Yeah. The 3D
I never liked 3D. You're talking to a guy who thinks that 3D is causing the downfall of cinema. Yeah. But this was an exception.
It was a movie built for 3D almost.
Yeah. I was like, I would have a hard time watching this movie in 2D because there's like pieces flying at you. And I was flinching. I was like, wow, what the fuck?
I mean, I liked how they kind of... Cat! It's a nice cat.
Get it!
Anyways, I liked, I mean, you might not have liked this, but I liked how when she was moving through the ISS...
Poor cat.
It's probably just chilling.
I know, but...
But
anyways,
I like the scene. I like when she's crawling through the International Space Station, and there's like the water coming off, and it hits the camera and just kind of rolls off the camera.
Yeah, I never get motion sickness when it comes to a movie, and normally if I do, it's
I was almost feeling a little dizzy.
I had to put my drink down
when she was spinning.
I had to actually stop. I had to put my drink down because I was getting dizzy, and there was a couple times where I almost gagged because of. And I was like, "This."
Could you imagine seeing that in IMAX?
I'd die. I would fucking die.
That would be so amazing. And lucky bastards who've seen that in IMAX.
I know, because normally, whenever I say something like that, I usually say it to diss it, like World War Z. I tore it apart. Partly because of the cinematography. The cinematography drove me up the fucking wall! But, so did J. Edgar's. J. Edgar's, Les Mis, and World War Z.
I love J. Edgar.
Oh, I love J. Edgar too. It's just the cinematography drove me up the fucking wall. Anyways, normally when I say like I got dizzy, it's for a bad reason. This was the total opposite. This was... It did what it, for the most part, it did what I wanted to do, and that was make an experience movie, not so much a movie.
Yeah, I mean, you felt like you were, I mean, when the camera would pan into her helmet, and you would be seeing what she
from her point of view, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
And you could see, like, you know, her, like, grabbing out and missing and, like, flinging around, and you really felt
and then I really loved how in that opening, whenever you heard something being touched out in space, it wasn't a sound effect that was outside, it was what was being heard inside the suits.
Yes.
And I was like, that was a good little detail that I'm actually going to complain about in a little bit because they didn't stay true to that.
Yeah.
But I was like, if they stayed true to that, that would have been good. It's like they only did it when they wanted to.
I think it was more of a... did it when it was more hands-on.
When it was... Yeah. But I mean... No, I mean, like, when they were suddenly out in space, you heard things clanging off of stuff and stuff like that. And I was like, for a movie that was trying to be really...
Yeah.
I'm going to get into that, into the complaint sections. But first things first, I just want to... Actually, one of the things I want to say is I'm going to have a lot to complain about this movie. But it was so good at the same time. Like, this is the best movie I've seen all year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
it's definitely in the top 3 for me, so...
I'll be honest, like... I think this top Pacific Rim for me in terms of... Well, it didn't top Pacific Rim because I'll be honest, I only heard about this movie when it first came out. Like, I think this is one of those surprise hits because I didn't see any trailers for it on TV until it came out.
Yeah, this is maintaining top of the beating. I mean, this is the highest grossing film probably all year thus far. Because
I hope so because
we've had
it
nothing
was
but
deserved
shit.
Except for Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim was good.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it seems like it's like all the films should be making lots of money.
Are making lots of money, and I'm glad that a movie like this is making money.
Yeah.
Because, and also I noticed that these are made by new guys.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that generation in Hollywood is dying. That generation in Hollywood is dying.
Yeah.
Or a new generation is coming in. I think we're going to see a new golden age of cinema soon, but
yeah. One
of the few areas I'm optimistic about. Anyways, this just pretty much solidifies why Sandra Bullock is my favorite actress.
Yeah. I have a very strong feeling that she's going to win an Academy Award.
I hope so. She did so fucking
And this movie is
good in
far
this.
enough into this year, so it'll be definitely make it onto the list.
It could.
I think it will.
Well, I mean, if Inception made it onto the Academy Awards list.
Hey, I like that film. So
No. I'm saying that because that was released in the summer.
Yeah.
And that was made it onto the Academy Award list.
Well,
I like it too.
I like it too. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it, and then I kept watching it, and I kept reading a lot of the stuff behind it, and I was like, oh god, never mind. This is actually Stanley Kubrick like. But
it's a total mindfuck.
It is a mindfuck.
Because it's the end. It's like, wait, has the whole time he been in a dream?
Oh my god, it's only 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
that was a short movie.
Hour and a half, exactly.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Anyway. Did it feel longer than that?
It did.
Yeah.
That's either a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know yet. And I want to talk about the music score. That music score was great.
Yeah.
And I since I had no idea what it was going to be about, other than the fact it was
who the hell composed that?
I have no idea.
It was like Tim Price or something.
Yeah,
I've never
heard of him. I'm going to type him up when I get home, and he's probably done a lot of stuff that I know. But
yeah, exactly.
That's what's going to happen. But you know what?
He's not a composer that you hear about. Like
when the music first, I said this to you when we were in the bathroom. But is that your stomach?
My stomach is speaking.
Stomach. Okay. Houston, we do not have a problem. Not yet. But I ate spicy at North Conway. Went to that Indian restaurant, and I ordered it hot. I could shit through the eye of the needle. Oh my god! Yeah. It was good though. Yeah. That's all I cared about. I do it again. It's like Chipotle.
Yeah.
Except I didn't leave any blood in my underwear.
Oh.
I love that South Park.
Hey, there's a church over there. Laundromat.
That would have been funny if we filmed it in there.
Why didn't we do it?
Because I don't want to get yelled at.
It's open 24/7.
No, I don't want to do it.
Why not?
I really don't want to do it.
It's owned by Jewish people.
Yeah, I really don't want to do it.
And we could make tons of anti-Semitic jokes in there.
No. On with the fucking video. On with in case pissed off just about everybody now. Well, no, my fans. What I've noticed is that
you did not see that coming.
A Jew mad because I did not see it coming. Don't you wish your boyfriend was hot like me? Oh god, that one made me laugh. But anyways, back to the fucking Gravity movie.
People.
Anyways, the music. When it first started playing, I thought it was done by Clint Mansell. It sounded very Clint Mansell-like.
Yeah, I agree. So
I almost said Clint Mansellian, but I was
Mansellian?
That doesn't work.
No, not at all.
People.
They're right next to us.
They are. So let's start screaming bloody murder.
Rape?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Rape!
Anyways.
I love my life.
I don't know. Oh, shit.
But, god damn it, we need to get back to the goddamn video. We're 14 minutes in, we haven't really talked about much.
But that's okay, because they like watching you, and they like watching me, kinda. So...
They don't like watching you, they just like listening to your music.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, if you upload the soundtrack...
I'm probably going to. I gotta upload it in parts, though, because I tried to upload the soundtrack to the Star Trek from '09 and I got like attacked.
Yeah, don't.
Like vicious.
Yeah, don't even. Anyway.
So now I can't upload anything over 15 minutes. But there's no way in hell I'm making a new page because I got 25,000 views on my Star Trek Wrath of Khan, so...
That's pretty much keeping your thing afloat, yeah.
Well, actually, I just hit 2,000 on my one of my instrumental core ones, so...
I like them. Yeah. They need to get listened to more. Listen to them!
Yeah, my page has like 15 songs of instrumental core, and they need help.
I like them.
They're small, and
they're fun.
They are fun, and they turn like badass music.
Gravity! That'd be funny if they had a song called Gravity, so then that would make sense. But
that would be funny.
But let's talk about Gravity.
Yeah.
What else did you like? I mean...
What else did I like? Like I said, I loved the build-up drops that they had.
Yeah.
Like it was like loud, 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 and you're like, what the fuck? And then it's like silent.
Well, I mean, I thought that was good because they wanted to go out into space, and that's what happens, kind of.
Yeah, but when the gravity thing was, when it was building up, and it was like building up, and then gravity came across the screen at the very beginning, and then just silence it was silence.
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, just with,
Let
like,
me tell you what, though, I can tell you when Sandra Bullock first gets pushed off Ryan, when she gets first pushed off, and she's spinning, and spinning, and spinning, and spinning, and spinning.
It's fucking with your head.
And spinning.
I was just like, dude.
And spinning. You felt like you were there. And...
You felt apathy towards her, and empathy, and everything.
The thing was, and there was also moments where they had to grab onto something where I literally, like, quenched up.
Yeah,
I grabbed onto my soda.
Miss it?
I grabbed onto stuff, and I was like, that's good.
A thriller in the description right there.
Right.
Edge of
that
your
was
seat.
Done more than movies that are technically, because that's technically not called a thriller.
I know,
but that fills that genre better than half of the fucking thrillers made today, except in Japan. The thrillers in Japan are pretty good, but
in France. But
I never liked French cinema. I'll be honest.
I liked it. Well, they had a lot of really nice horror films.
Yeah.
Some really fucked up shit, but anyways,
nothing like Japanese. But
no, well,
but you know, that was just a sign of a good movie right there.
Yeah.
Was how invested I got into it.
And I don't know if I'll ever be able to watch it out of movie theater though.
Yeah, that's going to be a downfall. I'd still fucking get it. First things first. Another thing that I want to notice is because this fucking theater doesn't have the right widescreen aspect ratio. Was this movie filmed in 1:8.5? Because if so, then we weren't really missing anything from the screen. But if it was filmed in 2:351, were we missing stuff from the screen? And I couldn't tell. Like, when we were watching The Dark Knight Rises in there, I could fucking tell like there's no tomorrow. When I was watching Star Trek Into Darkness, I couldn't see the goddamn subtitles when the Klingons were speaking.
Yeah.
That's how... I was pissed off. But...
They don't really say much.
I know, but I was pissed off because they were speaking Klingon!
That's like 6 words.
And luckily I understand it. Kind of. But,
I'm telling you, we should learn Dothraki. That is the next Klingon.
I will look into it. I will learn. If I was able to learn quite a bit of Klingon, I think I could, and actually get away with calling it a second language.
Well, you can major in it now.
Yeah. And I put it on my...
Everyone laughed about it.
I put it on my transcript, too.
Everyone laughed about it. Now you can get a college major in Klingon.
Suck it. Anyways, so fuck Spanish. I learned Klingon. But, God, that was... The long takes in this movie.
I mean, probably in the whole movie, there was probably, maybe 100 tops? I mean,
oh my God, yeah. Like, there were these takes that, you know what? For a while there at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, is this movie going to be done in one take?
Right. It was like...
I was like, holy fucking shit, if they do that, I will hail this movie forever, and I will call it the greatest experience.
I mean, there were probably... How many takes would you say there were?
There is not many, because there are takes in this movie that go on. The only movie that I could say comes close to having takes go as long as this is Children of Men.
Yeah.
And that movie doesn't even closely compare to how long these takes are. Like, these takes, there were takes that lasted 15 minutes. The longest one was like 15.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking impressive.
And it's like when it's happening, it's like non-stop, like, whoa.
Yeah, and like you follow Sandra Bullock, you follow the actress as she's going through the space stations.
Yeah.
And a lot of it felt like it was done in real time. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to get into a little later as a complaint. But
bugged the shit out of me, so. Because she's like an hour and 30 minutes, and then it's like we're watching her the whole entire time. And somehow an hour and a half goes by in 15 minutes.
Well, here's the one exception to that. I would have broken that rule when she had the dream of George Clooney coming in.
Yeah.
I would have stopped the constant timing there.
Yeah.
And I would have called it good enough. Because that would have been a great time, because she fell asleep, and when you fall asleep, it's never real time.
Yeah.
So that would have made sense. But I wish they kept this movie in real time. And I know you said that some parts felt slow. I didn't have that at all. You're talking to a guy who can sit through 2001: A Space Odyssey like 6 times and not get bored with it.
Oh, I can too.
I love that movie.
The movie is like...
Oh, and I want to say that too. To this movie's credit, there are only 2 other films that I've seen that have gotten space almost... or pretty accurate, and unfortunately this movie is the least one out of the three.
There's problems with the speeds.
Yeah, there's problems with the speeds, and there's just some problems I had with sound and then no sound and sound and no sound, but anyways, that's just continuity. Moon, but the most accurate one I've seen is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
By far. Yep.
And let me tell you, my Mr. Babcock, he'd hate this movie. Because he can't stand 2001 because he's like... Because he's like, there's long periods of time where that's it. And I'm like, this movie's full of that.
Well,
the whole fucking movie, like, doesn't have much dialogue in it at all.
And there's 3 actors in the whole entire film.
Well, there's more than that, but
there's 3 actors
you see.
On-screen actors.
That are alive. But, keyword, alive.
Yeah, you see dead people, but... I see dead people.
I see dead people. I saw dead people.
I did too.
Really good movie.
Exceptional.
Really you can tell it's a good movie because we have like nothing to say. we're used to finding nitpicking stuff. The only reason why friggin' Pacific Rim our review of that was as long as it was because we were waiting for that movie for so long.
Yeah. And we literally had to like beat people up to go see that movie. I felt like.
Yeah. But
I'm still kind of mad at Dave.
Yeah, me too. But I can tell you, I hope he watches this. He won't, but I can tell you what. Here's where the complaints start coming in. I guess you can start off because I don't think you have the same complaints as I do.
I don't know. Articulating them is more difficult. I had them in my brain, but it's so good, so it's hard to...
I mean, yeah, and I mean, this is going to sound like we're complaining a lot about this movie, but the reason why I'm going to start complaining it was because, again, I had no idea what I was coming into when I watched it, and I'll be honest, it wasn't what I was expecting. From what I heard of reviews and stuff like that, I was expecting something completely different.
Yeah, and I was too.
I was expecting something completely different.
And I don't think it deserves a title of sci-fi.
No.
And that's
not science fiction at all.
And that's what it's titled.
Titled under. The only thing that I could see it technically being under sci-fi is the fact that never happened. The whole...
But that's any movie.
I know, but... Well, not necessarily, but...
Well, unless it's a historical movie, then
right.
Yeah.
But the thing that even makes that questionable is that if it happened, if that scenario actually happened, this is exactly what would happen. This movie is exactly what would have happened. Again, this movie is also, I can't help but feel, I can't remember the name of this movie for the love of God, but Gregory Peck's in it, and it's a movie very much like this, made in the 50s, and a spaceship gets caught out in space, and they're running out of oxygen. Gene Hackman's in it, I think, but they get caught out in space. Instead of them drifting out in space, they're in a space shuttle, and they have to team up with the Soviets to help get them out, and before they run out of oxygen. The entire movie's done in real time.
Yeah.
So the movie's like 2.5 hours, so the entire movie takes place in real time. And when I heard the plot synopsis of this, or just a rough outline on IMDb, I was like, oh, this is very much so a loose remake of that. And so this is what I was expecting. That movie had no music.
Yeah.
No music at all. And that is actually my biggest complaint with this movie. Is that, not that the music was bad, the music was great, I just wish the movie didn't have it.
See, I kind of disagree. I agree, kind of, but I think that there are points when the music was well placed, but there were times when I felt that it could have been silent.
There were times that I felt like if the music was there, we wouldn't necessarily have the emotional punch.
Yeah.
Or as much of an emotional punch, but at the same time, I felt like what the makers of this movie wanted to do was to make something extremely realistic. Unbelievably realistic. And for the most part, I think they succeeded. But if they wanted to do it completely realistic, I would have cut... Whenever they're out in space, I would have cut out all of the sound effects, except for the radio. Like, I would have had it dead silent. I would have had no sound at all.
There wasn't much.
And there wasn't much for most of it. There wasn't much. But I would have had none. I would have had that as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
Except if it, like, cut the first person.
Yeah.
If it cut the first person, that's when suddenly I'd have sound. But then all of a sudden, when it go back out to third person, dead silent. But for this, I would have had no music. And the scene where she's talking to the Chinese guy on the AM radio.
That was probably the only part of the movie I didn't like.
Oh, are you serious? I love that.
I didn't.
Oh, I love that.
I thought it was kind of stupid.
I would have changed it. I would have had it where she picked up a radio frequency.
Yeah.
Down
I
on
thought
Earth.
the Chinese thing was kind of stupid.
I liked it. I would have had it where she picked up a radio frequency, and then that could have been my excuse as to have music in there.
Yeah.
It would have been some sort of song that was very sad and very emotional. Because that scene was very emotional, and to be honest, I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
Considering the hell that she went through, I probably would have done it. Of course, I would be wide awake, too, if George Clooney suddenly popped up next to me and started telling me what to do, and started drinking vodka.
Yeah. Well, Well, it's George Clooney.
It's George Clooney. But that's...
You hate him or love him, he's God.
Yeah, he's God. But that was my big complaint with it. The other big complaint I had with this movie, or it's not even a big complaint because I actually didn't really mind it overly bad. I really would have liked this movie to be in real time.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't necessarily have the full story. I would have liked it to been like, if they wanted the movie to be an hour and a half, I would have had the movie take place in an hour and a half. And another thing that I was extremely happy that this movie didn't do was I was expecting it to suddenly cut down to Earth. And it would have had the Houston people trying to figure out what's going on. No. You're just as in the dark as the people that are in the shuttle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I like that a lot. I didn't bring that up.
3 actors on the screen.
Oh my god, yeah, like...
And I think Cuarón did that on purpose.
Well, friggin' Moon had 2.
Yeah. Well, I think he was trying to...
Well, technically 1.
I think he was kind of trying to tribute a little bit.
No, not Moon. I think I felt an awful lot like 2001. There were several shots where she's climbing through the shuttle.
Yeah.
And then that scene where she crawls up in the fetal position. First off, great cinematography. But when she curls up into the fetal position, I was like 2001. Because that happens on 2001.
I saw a lot of, with that, it was like almost like, there's this like, life type message. Like,
there was.
She's like curled up and it shows like the fetus basically. Like she's at her weakest point.
She's the fetus and then she's growing up
and then
from that point forward.
Right. And she like grows up and then in the ship she gets like the mentality of let's fucking do this.
Let's fucking do this, right.
And then she does it and then she gets down on the land and she's trying to get up and she can't and she can't and then she finally stands up and you see Sandra Bullock's massive legs. I don't know what the fuck she did for this movie, but
oh yeah, they went through astronaut training.
She did she's like a freaking bodybuilder
I know.
now.
God, I love her. But you know, another thing that I felt like this movie had a message about religion on it too.
Yeah.
Because when she was talking about, hey, Matt, if you can see a girl with lots of knots in her hair, whatever, talking about her dead daughter. Spoilers, sorry. But
Her daughter's dead.
Wah.
Anyways.
She's lucky she wasn't dead when she was just a little fetus. Did I?
Oh my lord.
Adam. Being a guy who's pro-life. Anyways. I'm gonna pretend that never happened. I'm gonna leave in the video though, because I'm too lazy to edit it out. But oh. That wastes gas. But
it's to make sure the car doesn't die.
Yeah.
And we have to get jumped.
Like at Pacific Rim. Anyways, such a good movie. Like, I have so mixed feelings about this movie. Like, I really fucking enjoyed it. I pretty much got what I wanted to say about it off my chest. I mean, you haven't really said much about what you didn't really like about it, except for...
I hate the scene with the Chinese guy. The Chinese... Oh.
I liked it. I personally
it's a mixed scene. I'm sure that there are people who are probably sitting in that theater just like me going, what the fuck? Like, this is so...
I think that was more of her at a subconscious level, like, just trying to talk to herself.
And that was like... And then, I mean, I understand the psychological effect of it, but I just found it kind of... I feel that it could have been conveyed in a much better way than her barking like a dog for...
Oh, yeah. That could have been done better.
Like,
but
the psychological effect of her basically
it.
snapping, you know?
I personally would have liked it. But I can see your point at that. I can see why you're annoyed at it.
It was like, it kind of took me out of the movie when she started barking. Like, it kind of... And yeah, she barks for about 30 seconds. She's like, barking gets louder and louder. And more,
it is a long period of time.
And it's like, what the fuck's going on? And people who don't really get that stuff were probably like, what the fuck?
What the fuck is going on?
Like,
well, it's the human condition. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And
but I feel it could have been conveyed in a different way.
It could have been.
There was a little bit more, you know...
I personally thought that was realistic. What she was going through was realistic. But I would have probably done something different.
Yeah, well, my first idea generally for like, let's convey someone go crazy, so they're going to bark and talk to a Chinese man.
I also need to say this. And it's just funny because I had this feeling with The Last of Us, where I had a mixture of cold-heartedness and yet warm-heartedness at the same time.
Yeah.
This movie, I had a feeling that space is absolutely beautiful.
But death.
Extremely cold.
Yeah.
This movie made me feel cold.
Well, the scene that I really liked is the when she's in the shuttle, the Russian escape shuttle or whatever.
Yep.
And it's you could see the ice forming.
Building up, because that's what would happen.
And then as she's coming down on the Chinese shuttle, she's like it's like hot, you know, she's like sweating and
she's sweating. And I also like how you see her breath. That happens. And then I also love just little shit like this. When she cries, her tears flow. That's awesome. I'm glad that they paid that much detail to it, that they did it. And another thing, too, was when the shuttle caught on fire. It foreshadowed what was going to happen when she floated past it and you just saw the little flames.
Yeah.
Coming out little shit like that.
Oh, there was freaking... Oh, that was...
That was genius.
That was definition of good foreshadowing.
Yeah.
He would get an A in English literature class.
No, Mr. Rylance wouldn't like it.
Well, hey... And I know you didn't like her, but Mrs. Jock would love it.
She might, actually, but...
Well, she's a writer. She's an author. And she's been published, so...
Yeah, Mr. Rylance has no.
No.
Suck it. But,
Hey, Mrs. Jock might be a bitch, but at least she's been published.
Yeah.
And that counts.
Yeah. I really liked this movie.
Yeah.
I really did. For the most part, I really liked it.
It's got an 8.7 on IMDb right now.
That's good. That's really good.
When I went online and saw an 8.7, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, a lot of people said when they saw the trailers, I didn't, but a lot of my friend Chucky was the one that introduced me to it. Chucky was the one that introduced me to it. Yeah, he was like, Adam, right now the most anticipated movie to come out is Gravity. Have you heard of it? And I was like, no, what is that? Then I kind of lost interest in it, and then I heard all these hailing reviews for it. And I don't
got a
think
97 from Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane because Rotten Tomatoes doesn't give.
Sucks. But
I know, but they don't give.
I never follow Rotten Tomatoes.
And Meta, whatever.
Metacafe?
No, Metascore or whatever. It's like they composite all the ratings from all the big movie reviewers and everything.
Oh.
And it was like a 98 or something about it. So.
But goddamn. I'm going to be thinking about this movie for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I loved Pacific Rim, you can definitely tell that was just it. Well, it was meant to be an action movie. It was a kaiju action movie, which was awesome because it's kaiju and it's reviving the genre, and it is.
Yeah.
It very much so is. But this movie, I'm going to be thinking about for a long time, and it left a very large impact on me. And it takes a lot for a movie to really hit me like that. And I just like how this movie had a very deep message. It wasn't just an experience movie like I was expecting, and to be honest, like I probably would have wound up making it. Yeah. I felt like this movie had more meaning to it. Like it had a meaning on life, it had a meaning on death, it had a meaning on religion. Yeah. And I was like, this is impressive.
Never
all crammed.
Giving up.
Yeah, all crammed in 90 minutes.
Yeah, no matter how hopeless your situation seems, never give up, keep trying. And hell, even be ready for death because it is gonna come.
It is gonna come. Yeah, and even she says that.
Yeah, like, she's like,
well, I know I'm gonna die eventually. I just didn't think it'd be today.
Right.
In fact, I think that's the line.
And then when she's coming down, she's like, well, I might burn up in 10 minutes and I might be dead, or I might be dead.
I know, and at that point, I love how she's completely changed. She's like, it's gonna be one hell of a ride.
Yeah, she's like,
and I was like, yes.
And it shows right there that yes, everyone knows you're gonna die. You're gonna die, but just because you know that eventually, sometime in your life, you're going to die, that doesn't mean you sit there and wait for it.
Right.
You fucking.
Well, that's George Clooney's part in that dream sequence. Yeah. You're right, and I love that.
Oh, George Clooney, man, he did make up for.
He made up because let me tell you, if you ever watched the Russian version, it's beautiful. Yeah. The Russian version of Solaris, which was made in the 70s, is like Stanley Kubrick 2001, except a little less good. Yeah. But George Clooney. Welcome to George Clooney's apology for Solaris.
I was, for a little bit there, I was concerned with their relationship.
I was hoping that they weren't going to fall in love.
That's what I was.
I was fearing that they were going to fall in love.
I was so concerned that it was going to be like they were going to fall romantically in love and save each other in the end, and then he dies, and I was like, "Fuck yes!" I mean, I wasn't like.
Well, I know that's horrible, but I was like, "Oh, they're not going the cliched route; they're going the realistic route." And I was like, "Thank you." And they're going how life would probably.
Cuarón is an upcoming blockbuster director that is going, I think.
Maybe not. I don't really know too much about him, but whatever.
Well, he's.
If I see a trailer for an upcoming movie of his and it says from the director of Moon, I'm going to go see it. Yeah. I mean, Gravity. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it. Yeah. Hell, the director of Moon. Every time I hear it from the director of Moon, I'm like, I gotta fucking see it. But God, it was pretty damn good. I'll easily give this movie 4 out of 4.
Yeah, 4 out of 4.
4 out of 4.
No doubt.
This movie needs to win Academy Awards.
Yep.
I always said Pacific Rim should win the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects.
No.
Actually,
I don't know.
And then for Best Visual Effects, it should win for Best Cinematography. This movie should. There should be no competition. This movie should win.
Well, we do. I mean, there are other films coming, so you don't remember that too.
Are they going to top the cinematography in this movie? I highly doubt it.
Not in our opinions, but remember the Academy Awards is
fucking suck. Anybody who thought the cinematography in Les Mis was good needs to get a fucking bullet to the head.
I mean, you're gonna be shooting a lot of people.
Oh my god! The world would be a lot better place because I don't like you being this close to the goddamn camera all the time!
It's trying to focus on your face, and it can't.
And it can't!
You're too close.
That's the That's it. That's Les Mis. It's Les Mis in a nutshell. That's exactly what it is. But the cinematography in this movie was really good. Yeah. It was quite good. Yes. So 4 out of 4 easily. I highly recommend this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Go see it if you haven't. If you haven't, you're stupid.
This is a surprise hit. I wasn't expecting this movie to be a big hit. Or I was expecting it to make money. I wasn't expecting
I wasn't expecting it to be a moneymaker and actually be a really
like
very good film.
Moon was the same way. I was like, this movie's gonna flop, and no, it turned out to be a big hit.
I think people like it because it's different.
It is different. It really is different.
And it's like, it's not, it's not robots. It's not zombies. It's not, superhero. It's not a guy flying around. It's not a guy in a tank. It's not a guy with a bunch of machine guns. Right. Not a bunch of guys with machine guns. It's not a romance. It's not really a sci-fi even. It's not
even like a thriller.
It's just different.
If I was going to call this movie anything, I call it a thriller.
Yeah, it's unique.
I
think it is pretty unique. Even though it has a lot of relation to other films, it's unique in its own way.
It very much so is, and that's a sign of a good film. Do you know what else for Academy Award I hope that this one actually winds up at least getting nominated for? Well, I hope it gets nominated for 3. Cinematography, Best Actress, and or Best Set Design. Yeah. They had those sets spot on. Spot on. Like the Hubble Space Telescope. Fragile. Well, this movie clearly was fragile. Yeah. Oh man, so good. And I didn't feel like. I know that those ships were CG, but I didn't feel like they were CG.
No. It might be pushing a little bit, but I almost felt like they were actually filming it in space.
Me too.
It was
for a lot of it.
There were some scenes you could tell.
You could tell, and you can't avoid that.
Yeah.
You cannot avoid that. Yeah.
But,
as good as cinema gets, the only way you can 100% really get that 100 there is to actually film it in space. Like, that's never gonna fucking happen.
Well, it might eventually.
I hope it does eventually.
It's not really at a gas. My gas gauge is broken.
Oh yeah, that's right. Good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. 41 minutes later, where we were only talking about the movie for like 20 minutes.
Our conclusion is, it is a good film.
Good.
Good.
Watch it.
And if you don't, you're a loser.
And should be shot in the fucking head, like all those people who thought the fucking cinematography of Les Mis was